holiday season we just came through with the celebration of the birth of your son, the celebration of the new year. And Lord, this year we ask for special wisdom on each of the commissioners and the mayor here tonight. Lead and guide them, show them the far-reaching effects of every decision they make, of each expenditure, of every change to code, and every item they discuss. Lord, help us all to come together in unity in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Action on item discussed in executive session. Consideration and action on resolution number 2014-072 to authorize the purchase of the property at 1045 East Washington Street, Brownsville, Texas for $55,000 and designating signatories.
The Commissioners, we're asking your approval of this resolution. We can purchase the property indicated in the agenda, 1045 East Washington, for $55,000. The property's been appraised by both buyers and sellers, and this property, the agreed purchase price is less than either appraisal. So we are getting a bargain, if you will.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve resolution 2014-072.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Nay. Please note.
4 say yea and 2 nay. Okay.
Very good. Thank you
Motion
very
carries.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, John. There is no activity report on behalf of the mayor. Any commissioners' reports?
I do. Letting everyone know that this Friday and Saturday is the sign-up for this season's Biggest Loser Challenge. Friday from 5 to 8 will be at the Southmost Public Library on Southmost Road. And on Saturday, we'll either be at Linear Park, if weather permits, by the Farmers Market, or we'll be in the Parks and Rec building adjacent to the Linear Park. Please come out and register, find out about the program. This is our 6th season, and last year we registered over 1,400 people. And all events throughout the season are open for free, whether you register or not, for 4 solid months. And it's a great opportunity to start off the year right, and a great compilation of a lot of partners that have come together to make this program again available to the community.
Okay. Now it's time for all the New Year's resolutions.
That's right.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Good work, Commissioner. Proclamations.
A proclamation to Mrs. Stella Von Hatten.
Okay, Rick. That's good. Looks perfect, girl. Hate to see you go.
Mayor, I'd like to read a proclamation in honor of Mrs. Stella Von Hatten, our city secretary, and thanking her for her years of service here at the city. I wish we could do this for every employee, but this is somebody that deals with us on a day-to-day basis. This is somebody that's I've been involved with since I got here. She helped guide me when I first got here, and I think it's only appropriate that we read this proclamation and give it to Estella. And this is a proclamation of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing Mrs. Stella Von Hatten for 16 years of dedicated public service to the City of Brownsville. And whereas Estella Von Hatten, a Brownsville native, began her public service career at the Community Development Corporation of Brownsville, CDCB, in 1981 as Executive Secretary to the corporation's director. She was quickly promoted to office manager as well. In her position, she served as board secretary, loan review committee secretary, and assisted and participated in several fundraising events to raise unrestricted funds for assisting households who do not qualify for the corporation's affordable housing program. Whereas Estella Von Hatten, after 17 years at CDCB, continued in public service when in November of 1998, she began employment at the City Secretary's Office of Brownsville as a secretary assisting in various operations. Ms. Von Hatten served under 3 city secretaries, attending various trainings and increasing her knowledge of the departments, as well as the city's operations. Whereas in November of 2005, Ms. Von Hatten was appointed as City Secretary Local Registrar by Mr. Charlie Cabell, our city manager. And whereas Ms. Von Hatten's additional duties include those of record management officer, providing citywide training with the assistance of state staff. As public information officer, she offered valley-wide state-sponsored training regarding the Texas Public Information Act. As municipal elections administrator, she oversaw 5 municipal elections and was present on election night to receive the election returns. As city sexton, she oversaw the city cemetery records and requests for burials and the city cemetery, gladly meeting with families and custodial staff to determine if burial was possible at the city cemetery. And whereas Ms. Von Hatten, as a certified master registrar, has served as a panelist at the annual Vital Statistics Conference in Austin, Texas, and being active in the Lower Rio Grande Valley City Clerks Association, served as vice president and as president of the association. This year, she was one of 14 nominees in the state for Clerk of the Year. And whereas under Ms. Von Hatten's supervision and with assistance of the Vital Statistics Division supervisor and staff, the Vital Statistics Division, upon meeting state criteria, has received the state's 5-star award 8 times thus far. And whereas Ms. Von Hatten, having served 9 years as city secretary and local registrar, is known for her professional conduct, honesty, integrity, and dedication to being of service to the city commissioners, city staff, and residents of Brownsville, Texas. Now therefore, we, the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby recognize Estela Von Hatten, City Secretary, local registrar, for 16 years of dedicated public service to the City of Brownsville, its residents, mayors, and city commissions throughout the years. And further, we wish her a happy retirement and success in all her future endeavors. And it's done the 6th day of January, 2015, and it's signed by Antonio Martinez, the Mayor of Brownsville, and the City Commission. Congratulations, Estela. Thank you so much.
I'll try to make this short, but I have a lot of people to thank. Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, thank you for this recognition, and thank you, Commissioner, for your kind words. I'm flattered and humbled at the same time. 16 years have quickly flown by while attending to a fantastic assignment, and there was never a dull moment. Now as I retire, and I did not resign, by the way, I retired, I recall the day that our city manager, Charlie Kabler, announced my appointment as city secretary, local registrar at a Veterans Day luncheon on November 2005. And that was like it was yesterday. Charlie, thank you for trusting me with such a challenging and important position. I will always be grateful to you. The challenges I encountered were great learning experiences for me. I've had one other public service position that was not as fantastic and certainly not as challenging or as rewarding as that of city secretary and local registrar, elections administrator, city sexton, public information officer, and records management officer. I am grateful to have had the pleasure of knowing and working with several mayors and various commissions, and my heartfelt thanks goes to you all as well. I have learned that mayors and commissioners dedicate a tremendous amount of their personal time to city issues, meetings, presentations, and city events, always seeking to enhance and promote our city. I have learned that it takes a group of very special people to commit to their jobs on a daily basis, even when the going gets tough, and believe me, we have experienced that over the years. I learned that there is great value in having a qualified, positive, and enthusiastic group of workers in city departments. I was fortunate to have such an excellent team, some of whom are here tonight. I want to thank my fellow directors and friends within the City of Brownsville, too many to mention, but you know who you are, for your help, your cooperation, your friendship, your respect, and the email messages of congratulations. My special thanks to my team, Griselda, Nayade, Betty, Yolanda, Joanne, Johnny, and Jesse. We spent many hours of the day together, and I cannot thank you enough for your enthusiasm, cooperation, dedication to your duties, and fun-loving personalities. It was always great to share a quick cup of coffee in the morning and to know that the laughter I would sometimes hear from the lunchroom reflected the vibrant and happy staff that I was fortunate to have. My job was easier because of your support and your help. Last but certainly not least, my heartfelt thanks to my husband Joe and our son Eric for their ever-present support and patience during these past years. Many times I worked after 5 p.m., not just here, but in my previous job as well, and I was rarely home by 5 o'clock. I am blessed to have a loving and supportive husband and son. Thank you, Mayor Martinez and commissioners, for the support, courtesy, and respect that you've extended to me throughout my time, and for the email messages that you all sent me. I wish you all great success in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Estela, very much. Besides being city secretary, we happen to go to the same church, right, Estela? So we were in church on Sunday, and it's been a pleasure working with you, Estela, and I'm sure I speak for all the commissioners. And Joe, take good care of her, okay? Have a good time.
Was crying. I already feel kind of lost without her.
Okay, presentations?
Presentation, Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commission. My name is Rebeca Castillo with the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation. I have a presentation for you all today in reference to the grant applications for fiscal year 2014, cycle 2. And I'll go ahead and proceed. Just to give you a little bit of background and information about BCIC, especially you're probably familiar with it already, but particularly for the audience. Our mission statement is to fund quality of life projects. Our guiding principles are to be follow the responsibility of stewardship of tax dollars and embrace BCIC's partnership role and responsibility. Our background, we're a 12-year-old organization that has been in existence since 2002. 1/4 of the cent of every sales tax dollar generated distributed to BCIC. Annually allocates a percentage of its sales tax received towards projects that foster economic development through tourism and enhance the quality of life within the City of Brownsville city limits. Eligible projects within BCIC funding is for improvements, land, building, equipment, facilities, expenditures, targeted infrastructure. Funding for land, buildings, equipment, facilities, targeted infrastructure, and improvements for professional and amateur sports and athletic facilities, tourism and entertainment facilities, convention facilities and public parks and open spaces improvements, related store, restaurant, concession, parking, and transportation facilities, related street, water, and sewer facilities, and affordable housing. To promote and develop new and expanded businesses that create or retain primary jobs, including public safety facilities, recycling facilities, streets, roads, drainage, and related improvements, demolition of existing structures, and maintenance and operating costs associated with projects. For the fiscal year 2014 funding application for cycle 2 BCIC application guidelines, the process and guidelines were that the applicants must be a tax-exempt nonprofit organization or a City of Brownsville department. 20% monetary match is required. City of Brownsville departments may use labor costs as a match if the project is done by the City of Brownsville employee. Funds awarded on a reimbursement basis and after the 20% match has been spent. Ongoing monthly reporting and status updates are required as well. The proposed projects are bringing to you today. On December the 1st, BCIC board met and reviewed these applications. They had presentations and had the opportunity to rank these projects. If you look at this particular slide, it gives you 9 projects that are recommended for your approval. And it will give you the applicant, the project, and the BCIC funding that is being recommended for award, and also the total project budget. The total funding that we're proposing and as to award for fiscal year 2014 cycle 2 will be $581,679. We go to the first project is Brownsville Civil Air Patrol EOC Museum Restroom Facility. The applicant is Brownsville Civil Air Patrol. The project description is construction and completion of restroom facilities at their new training location and Civil Air Patrol World War II Museum. The second project is the Camille Playhouse Stage Curtains Replacement Project. The applicant was the Camille Playhouse. Project description: for new curtains to be purchased and installed. This project can be done and completed in one phase and should be completed by the summer of 2015. With the installation of the curtains, the tracks, and pulley systems to the flight floor, it will also be refurbished. And it gives you just an image of what the current curtains look like, which they're a little bit over 20 years old, and they're in dire need of replacement. The next project is Phase 1, Brownsville Historic Transportation Museum Site Plan and Preliminary Engineering. The applicant is the City of Brownsville Airport and Commemorative Air Force Rio Grande Valley Wing. Proposed description is site plan and preliminary engineering for the new location of the CAF RGB Museum off of Boca Chica, north side of the airport. The next project is the Brownsville Battlefield Trail Improvements Project. Applicant is the City of Brownsville Office of the City Manager. Project description: purchase and installation of signage, trail markers, and wayfinding. The result of this project will demonstrate the entire length, attractions, and opportunities of the trail and park and encourage sustained use. Here gives you some of the images of proposed and possible samples of the monumental signs, the trailhead signs, distance markers. The next project is the Southmost Hike and Bike Trail. The applicant is the City of Brownsville Engineering Department. Project description: the City of Brownsville Southmost Hike and Bike Trail project phase entail the construction of 1.8 miles of hike and bike trail in the southmost area of Brownsville, Texas. Funding requested from BCIC will cover Phase 1 of the project for lighting and landscaping. The project is located within a drainage ditch easement in the southmost area of Brownsville. The northern terminus of the proposed trail is located on International Boulevard, approximately 2.5 miles northeast of historic downtown Brownsville. The southern terminus of the trail is located approximately 1,100 feet southeast of Esperanza Road. Here gives you some images of the proposed trail, Phase 1, and the connectivity that it will have, the Lincoln Park and the Southmost Trail extension, how it has connectivity to different parks along that area. The Community Voice Survey Kiosk is the next project. Applicant is the City of Brownsville Office of Grant Management and Community Development. The project description: installation of 4 kiosks throughout the city. In efforts to further the community voice campaign to increase community participation and to effectively implement community need projects, the Office of Grant Management and Community Development proposed the installation of community voice survey kiosks throughout the city. The installation of these kiosks in parks, municipal buildings, and public areas will ensure the surveys are accessible and the data gathered is secured. The installation of community voice survey kiosks will increase citizens' feedback and ensure that a large population is reached. The data gathered from the kiosks will then be analyzed and will be used to identify and pursue quality of life community-based projects. The Perkins Champion Greenway Phase is a project, Phase 1. This applicant is City of Brownsville Parks and Recreation Department. Project description: this project will consist of 10 feet shared use path along the drainage canal right away, along with additional trail features such as lighting, trail signage, park furniture, and other amenities. This greenway is much like the Southmost Nature Trail, and that it will transform a drainage canal right away from an area that attracts trash and negative activity to create an area that will become a defined public space for parents and guardians to walk their children to school safely, as well as provide a space for exercise and healthy activities. It will provide accessibility to public transportation. It will provide connectivity and serve Perkins Middle School, Champion Elementary, Port Way Acres Park, Cavler Park, and Central Avenue Park. It gives you an image of Phase 1. The Sable Palm Sanctuary Educational Center, the applicant is Gorgas Science Foundation. Project description: construct a building for an educational exhibition to host exhibits that will focus on the biodiversity and cultural legacy of the Rio Grande Delta, and will also serve as a meeting lecture hall. Just give you an image of the current existing plantation house that they have there. The Flamingo Encounter is the applicant is the Valley Zoological Society, known as Gladys Porter Sioux. The project description is Gladys Porter Sioux wishes to transform its current Chilean flamingo exhibit into a display that will promote breeding in its flock of flamingos. At the same time, it plans to redesign the exhibit so that the visiting public will be able to enter the front section of the exhibit and hand feed the young that are produced. This has been done in other zoos and is very popular. A keeper in hand to ensure the safety of birds and guests and to relay conservation messages. The project scope includes the following elements: level the exhibit, which currently slopes radically to a section of the zoo's resaca, build a naturalistic wall around centralized pool area where the flamingos will bathe and feed, break through an existing hollow barrier wall on the south side of the exhibit and create a cave night house in its interior that the flock can use as refuge in case of hurricane and hailstorms. In the past, when the weather conditions have warranted the flock to be moved, several deaths resulting because flamingos are delicate and easily broken. And the refuge that you use is the restrooms at the zoo. Demolish the old flamingo pool and create a flamingo-safe nesting marsh where the pool currently exists. Build a new naturalistic pool and meandering stream with 2 levels, one for the adult birds that will likely avoid the public, and a shallower section towards the front of the exhibit where the public will be allowed to get close to and feed the flamingo youngers. It's an image of the flamingos there at the zoo. These are the projects that the BCIC board is recommending for award. As I mentioned earlier in the slide that lists the projects, it makes a note of the amounts that are being recommended for award for each of these projects. And I'm available to answer any questions that you may have. There will be I'm sorry, go ahead. There'll be an action item later in the agenda to take action for your consideration and action to move forward with the awarding of these funds. Thank you.
Will you be bringing us BCIC appointments at the next meeting?
We're going to do it on the next commission meeting. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Employee of the month?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the commission. Please help me welcome our first employee of the year, 2015, January, Ms. Ana Benavides. Ana was hired about a year and a half ago. She hasn't been with us too long, but tremendous impact. She was hired, put in our finance department for about a month, and she was hired as an accountant, so she was told now it is your responsibility to take on the HUD programs, the CDBG Home Emergency Solutions Grant, which oversees a lot of the homeless prevention programs. She has done fantastic. Obviously, that's why she's here. She has helped us through a lot of the issues with HUD. In fact, earlier this month, she was recognized by the San Antonio Field Office and the Washington Office for her great work in financial management. We're so proud of her. And obviously, she is a hard worker. She works very closely with her co-workers, with the public. And as you can see, the grants department has become a family. They're always here together when they achieve. They work together very closely on annual programs that we have throughout the city and work with other entities to assure that they get the best impact from us in relation to grants. So we congratulate her. She has adopted and worked diligently to reconcile the financial report and clean up the HUD financial system known as IDS, which is on that matter for many years with us. So we congratulate her as Employee of the Month. She gets the pin. It's an endless watch because we know she puts in a lot of hours. The plaque. And she'll be eligible for the Employee of the Month, the year in our December banquet, which will be here before we know it. So congratulations, Anna, and she has a few words for you.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. It is an honor for me to be here today and to receive this work recognition. I want to thank Mr. Granado for giving me the opportunity to work with the city. And I want to give a special thanks to Stephanie for the trust and the support that she has given me. And I gotta say that it has been a great learning experience for me. And I want to thank the department as well for being there always. And thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Consent agenda items A and B.
You approve? Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Boards and commissions, consideration and action to appoint members to the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee.
Mayor, City Commission, this is to appoint to fill two vacancies on the CIAC. As you can see on the screen above you, or up here, Mr. Richard Zayas and Mr. Marcus Sparza resigned. So we have 4 applications. So we asked for two appointments today.
I'd like to nominate Leonardo Waltz.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, wait, one more. And also, according to the ordinance that organized the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, the City Commission shall elect a chair by majority vote from time to time. That's exactly written from the ordinance. So Ms. Leanne Greer has served as a chair for quite a long time, and she wants to continue to do so. So when you finish the motion for the second vacancy, then after that, another motion to appoint her chair as well.
Okay.
I move to appoint Mr. Michael Grove.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mayor, by the same token, I move to reappoint Ms. Leanne Greer as chair.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Everything carries.
Public hearings. Item 7, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 2015-1570-C to amend Chapter 310 Grants, Article 2, Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee, Section 310.26, Purpose, Section 310.27, Composition and Term Office, Section 310.28, Organization and Staff, and Section 310.30, Meetings, and establishing the structure and guidelines for the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee within and dealing with related matters.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners. This is the public hearing and action on first reading on Ordinance Number 2015-1570C to amend certain sections. The Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee, BCAC, assists in making recommendations on proposed projects for HUD grants, which include Community Development Block Grant, Emergency Solutions Grant, and Home Investment Partnership Program. We're requesting to change the composition of the committee. The current composition of the committee is 11 voting members. We're proposing to change it to 7 voting members. And the reason is due to challenges in meeting quorum, which can cause delays in meeting deadlines for HUD, which failure to make recommendations could jeopardize in the funding. In addition, we're notified that per CFR, participation of at least one homeless individual or formerly homeless individual is required. And so we've added that to the ordinance as well. There is a proposed change also to the organization and staff section. Clarification was provided for the appointment of a member when filling a vacancy. And then there's proposed changes to the meetings section. Clarification was provided on holding meetings, and the proposal is having the BCAC meet on call by the Director of Office of Grant Management and Community Development. And there's an update on the number of members that are needed to satisfy quorum, which would be 4 now instead of the 6. And then there's clarification in wording as far as the absences. And finally, in Section 4, the wording was updated to clarify that this ordinance shall take effect upon approval on the second reading by City Commission. And so right now, we're at the first reading.
It's a public hearing. Any comments? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm sorry, just on the language,
Yes.
I'm looking through it, and I've been
Sure.
looking through it, but I didn't see anything about, there'll be 7 members. Is it fair to say that every member of the commission will have 1 appointment? Or is it just by city commission appointment?
It's fair to say, because there's the number 7, so as far as the requirements that I understand.
But it's not in writing.
It's not, I don't see it, no, it's not in writing. And one of them has to be a homeless or previously homeless, and then 1 member has to be residing in a CDBG eligible area. So those are the 2 specifications as far as the members. But that part's,
Anything?
Go
ahead.
Is there, and I realize the problem with quorums, but if you have to have those 2 particular members, I don't see a problem with us probably trying to be able to find one. Are you fair if, well, maybe I guess we can approve for right now, and then at the second public hearing, we can still raise a couple of other concerns?
okay.
But I really would like to see within the language that every member of the city commission, if there are going to be 7, I think it would be fair that every member gets his or her own appointment to the board.
Why don't you draft something and present it email it to the commissioners so that they can read it before the next
Sure.
Yes. Go-around?
Not a
Any other comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to close.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, yes,
Okay,
thank you.
that's to close the public. Now, first
Motion to
reading.
approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2041-041 to rezone from dwelling Z and light industrial G to light industrial G for 268.58 acres out of 477 acres located near FM 511 and Paredes Line Road.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. As you can see on the map, the area shaded in red is the area for the rezoning. It's located on the south side of FM 511 and near Paredes Line. This is from rezone this area from dwelling, and this one from 7 commercial to light industrial. This was before the Planning and Senate Commission, all in favor of the rezoning.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Any comment?
Would close? Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Action item.
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 9, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2014-042-S to allow a duplex G in a dwelling A for Lot 26, Block 1 of La Posada South Subdivision, Section 4, located near Palacio Real Street and Calle Mirado Drive.
This specific use is for a duplex located on Palacio Real Drive and very near to Calle Milpa Verde. Again, this was before the Planning and Senate Commission, and all in favor of this specific use.
It's something that existed in the past, and they fixed it up very well, so they're going to fix it up very well, so.
Yes, a couple of lots from
Yeah.
this.
And they're fixing it up very well, so.
Good.
Move to close public hearing? Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to approve? Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 10, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 2015-1100.55 to amend ordinance number 1100 by readopting the heritage plan and dealing with related matters, including 2,000 penalties.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners. Peter Goodman, Downtown Manager. This, just as a point of information, will be the 30th year that this plan, as it's changed, of course, has been presented to the Commission for approval, and hopefully the 30th year that you'll collaborate with the other 4 taxing entities. By the way, it's already been approved by P&Z and the county. I mean, we just do them as we, as we can get scheduled. And I know it's called a heritage plan. However, in reality, what I'm sure you really understand is that it's a listing of properties that are eligible for historic tax exemptions if they qualify, if they keep everything maintained properly, restored properly. It's not a gift. The money needs to be spent. We know it's more expensive. I know the mayor's had great experience restoring buildings like the old jail, which is a fabulous federal job, actually, and has recognized by the federal government and Parks Department for that. So we're here. What I'd like Roman McAllen, who's our new heritage officer, to do is to give you a little brief overview of the 5 properties that we've added this year, just so you know the kind of things that we're looking for. Roman?
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter, and thank you, commissioners, and I'm happy to be here. Good to see you this evening. I'm just going to present to you the plan that we have, the Heritage Plan. It is predominantly the same as it's been for the last few years. With this year, we're only proposing to add 5 properties to the what's called a primary local property list. And I'm going to just present those to you briefly. They won't be long here. These are the 5 properties. It's 40 Sunset. 40 Sunset is originally a Federalist style home that was built in 1931. And in 1979, a monumental portico was added to this property, which moved it more towards a classical revival style. It still maintains the original double-hung windows, and it has this interesting capitals with at the top of the monumental columns. This property the Heritage Review Council approved only a one-year listing only on the primary local designation. And that is to allow time for the owner to pursue a state historical marker on his own. Regardless of how that comes out, it will not be a primary local. That gives an opportunity for the state to step in and assist the property owner with the property. This is an arts and crafts style property at 1744 Washington. It was originally constructed in 1909 and updated in the 1920s, and the previous owners include Joe Celaya and Joe and C. Hill Putenat. The house is really well preserved. The current owner has done a lot of restorative work on the property, and it is part of an area of Old West Brownsville that's a little cluster of really well-kept original properties. The idea here is to, in the coming years, to carefully survey the entire historical district once again. I plan to do that in my position, and then pay particular attention to the strongest clusters that we have in the historical district. And that will allow us to strengthen and protect them, as well as to find a way, or the best way, to approach the remaining infill. This is 1204 West Levee. It's a 2-door style home built around 1930. The current owner has done an extensive amount of research, and it's quite likely worthy of a state marker, and they will be applying this year as well. The builder was a W.A. Roscoe, who was a small-time speculative builder, who was also a principal in the 1920s of Brownsville High School. The home was sold to the Bogles in 1930. The Bogles were from Presidio County, and Mr. Bogle was an Army pilot whose flight suits are presently on display in the Marfa and Presidio County Museum. Mrs. Bogle was active in the women's suffrage movement in Presidio and later taught in Brownsville. The current owner would just like to use the tax relief to keep up this property, and it is in good shape. This colonial style house at 635 West Levee was built in 1927, designed by E.J. Holliday, who designed several homes in Brownsville. It's presently listed as a high priority secondary home. It's all original with its windows and siding. There are a few deferred maintenance issues that we'll be asking the owner to address in the coming year. And what I did during the few months I've been in the position is resurvey every property that's presently getting any relief at all, and made careful notes. And as soon as this plan is even sooner, I'm already beginning to draft the letters that will go out to property owners that are receiving the relief, just to encourage any deferred maintenance to be taken care of, and any other. There's some some properties, they might have a little more significant issues. So it could be in the coming year, you might look at removing some of these properties. That's this one. And the final property is a home built in 1941 in the two-door, the colonial two-door style at 1125 West Boca Chica. This home was built for Bynum McWhirter Works, who, with his two brothers, worked at the Warrix Sanatorium that still exists at over on West Levee, which was built in 1909 by their father. The owners of this property approached the office and were asking for some relief. It's a 4-acre site in total. It's kind of divided in two, so this is a request to make only the front part of the property, including this house, a primary local, which by ordinance gives them 50% relief of the taxes on that part of the property. And with that, they really want to allow this property, do something special with this property and get more public access to it. The family does not live here. It is a beautiful site with lots of birds. It was once a nature conservancy site. And so again, this is the other property with a 1-year only tax relief. And then we're going to see if we can move forward with plans to make it more public, secure the site. They're not here. They have a caretaker on the property. And so this is the one that we're going to work with the owners and see what we can do to help. There are only a couple of areas in Old West Brownsville that retain a lot of green space. This is one of them, and there's one over on Lakeside. And both of them, in the past, I think the city designated them as conservancy sites. And I would like to look into the history of that and hopefully encourage that to continue. This home is distinctive, of course, and I've talked about what the family would like to do. So readopting the Heritage Plan from 2014, along with these 5 additions, are the recommendations of the Heritage Council.
As you know, this is the only incentive that the City of Brownsville has to assist folks who want to preserve our history and our buildings. So it's really needed to give them a lift up and more of an incentive to do it. And they've been doing a great job. A lot of people have been doing a lot of work if you drive through West Brownsville on their own, and they have no incentives. But it's starting to look better on its own. It's a domino kind of theory, and it's helping to save our history for our youth, which I think is wonderful.
I think so too.
Are there any questions from the commissioners?
Do we have any comments? It's still public hearing. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Want to close?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Would approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
No,
Great
on
job.
behalf of Brownsville, thank you. Thank you all.
Mayor, we
comment?
have no public comments.
Good. Sorry about that.
Act-
Action item number
items.
12.
Action items number 12, consideration and action regarding the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation project funding recommendations for fiscal year 2014, cycle 2.
Would approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 13, consideration and action to adopt resolution number 2015-001, reaccepting, reviewing, amending, and readopting all of the provisions listed in the documents titled City of Brownsville, Texas Amended Investment Policy and City of Brownsville, Texas Amended Investment Strategy Statement.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners. I'll briefly go over presentation. Under the Texas Government Code, Chapter 2256 of the Public Funds Investment Act, subsection 03, states that the governing body of an investing entity shall review its investment policy and investment strategy not less than annually. The governing body shall adopt a written instrument by rule, order, ordinance, or resolution stating that it has reviewed the investment policy or investment strategy. The City Commission initially adopted the city's investment and strategy policy on September 24th, 1996. Since then, it has been amended 16 times. This is a housekeeping item. Our policy states that we must revisit this policy annually and make any amendments where they are needed. The city's investment committee has reviewed and recommended the various changes to be made to the city's investment and strategy policy. We are updating the names of the funds that we're investing, the city's idle funds, which include the entity city's operating funds, construction and capital funds, and the debt service funds. The city investment policy and strategy is a very conservative policy. The city does not invest its idle cash in risky investments. Our investment policy primary objective is for preservation of capital, safety of city funds, maintenance of sufficient liquidity, maximization of return within acceptable risk constraints, and diversification of investments. In 1996, the state of Texas required cities such as ours to develop and adopt investment strategy policies soon after Orange County, California filed for bankruptcy in 1994. Orange County became the largest municipality in the United States to declare a bankruptcy after the county treasurer of Orange County lost $1.7 billion in taxpayer money through investments of risky Wall Street securities. Tonight, the city staff is recommending that the city commission approve resolution number 2015-001 as required by the city investment and strategy policy.
This is just an action item.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Lupe.
Thank you.
Item 14, consideration and action to accept the City of Brownsville's recommendation on the construction of the Federal Emergency Management Agency safe rooms.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. Requesting your consideration and action to accept City of Brownsville recommendation on the construction of FEMA safe rooms. Here we have an overview. To build all four community safe rooms, there would be a total shortfall of almost $7.5 million. We have laid out the total project cost, the total city cost, and the available funds for each community safe room. A brief background, in 2012, 4 community safe rooms were awarded. During this year, site selection was finalized and HUD funds were committed. During 2013, design plans were finalized and approved and procurement was initiated. During 2014, procurement was finalized and cost overruns were submitted. And just a background, please note that during this time frame, there were about 60+ community safe room projects in the state of Texas, and we were informed that currently there are only about 26 active projects within the state, 4 near project completion and 5 have broken ground. We have reviewed possible options to move forward with the community safe rooms, and staff recommendation is to build the CDBG Sports Park safe room and the Southmost Library safe room. In order to do so, we would need to cancel the non-CDBG Sports Park safe room and the Central Library safe room. We would need to reallocate CDBG funds from the Southmost Library safe room to the CDBG Sports Park community safe room, and reallocate the Central Library Community Safe Room funds to the Southmost Library Community Safe Room. With this proposal, there is an estimated surplus of $1.6 million, supposing that the cost per square footage does not increase. This recommendation allows to provide a community safe room in the southmost area where there's a higher community need, and it will also allow the city to build a community safe room in the sports park area, which is by the hurricane evacuation route.
It's an action item.
Approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 15, consideration and action to request that the Federal Emergency Management Agency grant the City of Brownsville a 12-month extension to complete construction of the Community Safe Room project located at the Brownsville Sports Park.
Requesting your consideration and action to allow the City of Brownsville to request from FEMA a 12-month extension to complete the construction of Community Safe Room project located at the Brownsville Sports Park. We need to request an additional 12 months due to delays in review of documents by FEMA and cost overruns. There's a letter in your packets that we have included to outline the events that took place throughout the year. And I can go over the dates if you'd like, or
I think, I don't know, I read it, and I think I visited with you about this issue. As long as we don't lose any money, it seems like it's a fair It's an action item.
It's just, we can't do anything about construction costs. I mean,
No,
It's just
no.
something it's a risk we have to take.
That's a risk we have to take. It's
Yes,
unfortunate.
and we've outlined specifically the dates of what happened in each
Okay.
month. We've demonstrated diligence and necessary attention to expedite the progress of the project, and therefore, we're respectfully requesting the extension.
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You adjourn?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.